The LCS is back. Just like everyone has been asking for, Riot is ending the controversial LTA and giving us back the LCS and CBLOL. But a return to the old league might not solve all of its old problems either. So first of all, we need to talk about this past year. Riot frustrated a lot of fans at the end of the 2024 season when they revealed the new League of Legends Championship of the Americas, which, yes, was abbreviated to LTA. It was primarily a new combined region, including the former Brazilian league, CBLOL, and the North American one, LCS, with the smaller Latin American North and South leagues too. But the combined league wasn't actually one entity. Instead, the LTA North and South effectively replaced the LCS and CBLOL with teams from the Latin American leagues included. Then they played mostly separately all year long. And then we had the format.
Before we get into the video, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Omen, who are our portal to possibility for sending us to amazing esports events all over the world. This time, we're in Paris covering VCT champions to truly find out who is Valorant's best team. Unleash your ultimate gaming potential with the Omen Max 16 laptop. Crafted for powerful performance, the Omen Max 16 is equipped with up to an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, offering gamers desktop-level performance anywhere, encased in a light, portable body they can take on the go. Then there's also its groundbreaking new self-cleaning fan technology called Fan Cleaner. Powered by Intel, this built-in feature periodically reverses the fan's direction to prevent dust buildup for absolutely peak reliable performance. And for the first time ever, Omen gives players the ability to manually overclock their laptop CPU and GPU for max performance up to 250 watts total processing power without having to go into the BIOS. Thanks again to Omen for helping players navigate through any gaming obstacle to reach new levels with the Omen Max 16, now available at omen.com. And now, let's get back to our story.
So the LTA format was very complicated. To be honest, we cover this for a living and our producers still pretty much have to pull it up every time we talk about it. Cross-regional play, which seemed like one of the main selling points of the LTA, happened rarely and seemed almost like an afterthought. And qualification to international events seemed arcane and borderline arbitrary. It was bad enough Riot felt the need to step in after just the first split, which fans worried had been far too short. They extended splits 2 and 3 and acknowledged things weren't going well.
We know split 1 didn't hit the mark for a lot of fans, and honestly, we agree.
But ultimately, those changes weren't enough. Fans were upset about the whole thing, understandably. The LCS was one of the original leagues Riot established in 2013 and has been at the heart of this esport for more than a decade. Brazil's CBLOL is even slightly older, with its first event held at the end of Season 2 in 2012. Fans built up a relationship with these competitions over the course of years. I think most people watching today probably don't even remember a time in the scene before they existed. It felt brutal to have all that history ripped away for an alternative that didn't appear to be better for either the players or for the fans. So with all that said, why did Riot go back on their decision? Well, first of all, viewership dropped. It's hard to say this is definitely because of the brand change, but I think it's not hard to imagine a world where the fans who were no longer as invested in the league simply spent their time elsewhere instead of watching a confusing league with a worse name. According to esports charts and Sheep Esports, who have been tracking and comparing the viewership over the course of the year, Split 2 saw considerably less viewership throughout the year compared to the LCS Spring Split, airing at roughly the same time last year. And viewership dropped even lower in the summer, which esports charts believes could simply be because Casual didn't cover NA during that time. And look, it's not as though nothing interesting happened in the league this year. Shopify Rebellion proved they could hang with the best teams in the league. 100 Thieves brought in Dokla and went on a miraculous run from 8th place to the finals in Split 3, earning themselves a world's berth in the process. FlyQuest won the end of season championship, but instead of domestic North rivals, they played against Brazil's Vivo Cade Stars, who eliminated 100 Thieves from the event in a big upset. In short, the competitive scene in North and South America is alive and well, so why couldn't the viewership support that? Well, like we've already said, the format was genuinely confounding for a lot of fans. It felt like Riot was trying to build a rivalry between Brazil and North America that most fans didn't resonate with. I think, at least speaking for NA fans, Europe has been its natural foe over the years, only solidified by events such as Rift Rivals. And let's not forget, they more or less erased the LLA North and South regions, with only a handful of orgs sticking around as guests in the LTA North and South, like Lion and Leviathan. All in all, it was a baffling decision that pretty much everyone in the scene has questioned all year. But over the weekend, weekend, during the LTA finals in Texas, news broke that Riot might have been listening to the questions after all. The story was initially reported in Brazilian Portuguese by CBLOL creator Joko, who tweeted that the CBLOL would return in 2026. And Sheep Esports broke the news to English-speaking fans, with multiple sources telling them the LCS would also return as a distinct brand on Sunday, a matter of hours before Riot confirmed the news during finals. We also got more information yesterday in a follow-up announcement, so let's talk about what's actually going to be changing. First of all, both the LCS and CBLOL are going to become distinct leagues once again. Riot is removing cross-conference play, and both scenes will have the chance to run domestic splits, culminating in a summer championship more or less as they have for the past 12 or 13 years. Since First Stand is sticking around as an event, there will be 3 splits in 2026, not 2, but otherwise this is the format we're seeing from most regions around the world right now. As for the former LLA teams, these leagues are not coming back, and they're instead being merged into the CBLOL and LCS, more or less as they were this year. Teams from Central America will play in the LCS, and teams from South America will play in the CBLOL. And look, that's obviously a bummer for fans of those leagues, and it should be noted that Spanish-speaking viewers are somewhat left in the dust here, as their scene is rolled into a primarily English and Portuguese-speaking broadcast, respectively. But it's true that those regions were much smaller in terms of viewership and player base back in 2024. And while this announcement doesn't provide a lot of details, Riot said they were committed to some sort of path for Tier 2 teams to earn guest spots in the bigger leagues, so Latin American teams that aren't being grandfathered in may still have a chance to move up. And lastly, let's talk about international spots. Going forward, the LCS and CBLOL will qualify 1 team to First Stand each. The LCS gets 2 seeds to MSI, while CBLOL gets 1, and the LCS gets 3 teams at Worlds, while CBLOL again gets 1. And while a lot of NA fans are probably pretty happy about this, I can't exactly stand here and ignore the fact that Brazil kind of bodied NA in the finals with the exception of FlyQuest. Unlike earlier this year, when the best Brazilian teams looked lost against former LCS squads, in the last couple of weeks we saw the Red Canids take out Shopify and VKS take down 100 Thieves, like I've already mentioned. The top 4 in Texas was an even split, with 2 reps from Brazil and 2 from North America. So does NA really deserve 3 times as many world seeds? And that takes us to the bigger picture here. It's important to remember here that the LCS did have its share of problems before being forced into this strange fusion with the rest of North and South America. Viewership has been declining for years. The league has struggled to find any kind of meaningful international results, and as the initial generation of stars that drew fans to the scene in droves retired, we haven't exactly gotten one-to-one replacements. These are problems that we and others have been covering on this channel for years, and I don't want to pretend like a return to the old name and the old logo is just going to solve this overnight. But despite the fact that we don't know exactly which orgs will be participating in the league next year, despite a chaotic off-season and a frankly disastrous year, I have to say that I'm genuinely happy about this news. The LCS has been a big part of many of our lives for more than 10 years. It's been clear all year that there are still passionate, excited fans in the scene for both North and South America, and it does mean something that Riot listened. That said, there's a lot of work to do here. The LCS is a special league, built over a long history by a passionate community that cares deeply about the scene. But if people want that to continue, if NA wants to have the same relevance in this decade that it once did, some things are going to change. Those changes can start with a logo, but they do not end there.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's video. All year we've been traveling around the world with our friends at Omen to bring you coverage of the biggest events on the esports calendar. As part of that, I'd like to ask you all if you could fill out the survey via the link in the description below so we can continue to bring you the content we know that you love. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching.